Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have an upload that I am looking forward to sharing with you all, and you will soon find out why. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They all were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It doesn't cost you a cent. Click that like button. It takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon and please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things, they really do help this channel to continue to grow and go. And folks, they definitely matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump into today's upload. Shall we? Really quick before we get into today's upload, something that I'd like to address. I got an email 2 days in a row from the same guy, and saying that he was a former subscriber, that he supported the channel and looked forward to my uploads daily, and this and that. And then he said he's very disappointed in me because now that my channel's grown, I have been sharing older accounts and older interviews and this and that. And on Saturday night's live stream, I shared why. I've been depressed. I literally have not been able to get out of my own head. For those of you who are new, I was diagnosed with a terminal illness a ways back. Manageable by medication, or was. It has slowly kind of reemerged, and my doctor and I are trying to, well, his team and I are trying to figure out what we can do to get it back to where it was. My dad's going through countless vascular surgeries, and I couldn't. It was like every time I turned, it was something new, more stress. And I just got depressed. Then I had a mass on my leg. And because of my illness, which is PNH, they kind of were a little alarmed and said, we got to check this out. It may be cancerous. I didn't get the lab results back for 11 days. So that 11 days, I'm in my head. And I got the lab results back, and it is benign. I am good to go. Your prayers are what got me through. But here's another thing. I saw a comment the other day from a new subscriber who said, Jeff, I live by Cott County, Tennessee. We've had attacks there. And she's new, so she never saw or never, witnessed back in 2021 the amount of energy I put into the Tony Aarons Amber Miller case. Looking into all of that, looking into who Charles Owensby was. He's, of course, the colored man who they blamed the attacks on. And, then I just hassled Cott County, Tennessee Sheriff's Department and Newport Police Department. Just really put them through the ringer, and old Tutu loved me. But that's why, because those videos are buried in the other 2,500 videos on this channel. And then I wanted to, I didn't even respond to this bozo because it wasn't worth it. Because then I wanted to be like, listen, I put out 2 to 3 videos a day. Regardless if it's me repeating an encounter so people can hear them, it's still work. It's still information getting shared. Granted, someone might have heard it, but you know what? Do you watch a show over again and then see something new that you missed? Yeah. So that's why. And if you guys are upset about it, I apologize. But I am starting to get out of that depression, and I got a lot to share with you today. So thank you for all your support. I really do feel blessed having you guys on my back, or having my back, whatever, you know what I meant. Because I'm not alone, and it really felt amazing, and nor are you. If you ever need to talk, send me an email and I will respond, because I owe it to you guys. Let's get into today's upload. So today's first part of the upload is obviously some big news coming out of Peru. Many of you have sent me emails on this, and I wanted to watch and see how it all played out and see how, things really kind of just worked its way out, I guess is the best way to say it. About 3 months ago, there was a Dogman attack that was in the news, in Peruvian news. The video of the victims were shown in the news. I tried to put it up on the channel, and YouTube said no explicit content here. But there was numerous villagers were being attacked by a large canine-like cryptid. And now we have this kind of face eater, they're calling it, the face eater. And it's supposedly these 7-foot alien life form that don this kind of protective suit. Apparently one of the villagers had shot one. There's some photos online. It looks like a guy, his face is gone. And it's pretty disturbing. It really is disturbing. But a lot of looking into it more, a lot of these Peruvian villages have had experiences with predator-like creatures. What was it, 4 days ago? I did an upload sharing a Brazilian account of a family, generational and village-wise, of Mexican descent. This creature that was in the woods, and it was disemboweling and degutting people who went out into the woods. And the second this Peruvian thing jumped up, I was like, whoa, that's, ironically enough, a day or two later, a day or two before this, I had done this upload. And now this, and I'm like, whoa, we are seeing some kind of influx of I guess awareness and a disclosure. But then, and it's part of the reason why I waited, there has been an update on this Peruvian face eater. And I don't know how to feel about it, because now what they're telling us is these Peruvian face-eating alien life form now are gold miners. These 7-foot alien creatures that donned this metallic armament and could actually hover, but now the Peruvian government is going to say no, and the village leaders, or whoever it is, because it's kind of very cloudy as of right. But look it up. They're now saying that it was gold miners, illegal gold miners, that were killing these villagers so they didn't get caught and hauled off to jail. That sounds a little too far-fetched for me. That's a lot like what the U.S. government does with, right, perfect example, Charles Owensby and the Amber Miller and Tony Aaron's case. They need a scapegoat. Owensby was no guiltier than I would be. Tearing, he did it, and it was his dogs. When they found no dogs, and this and that, and they always need a scapegoat. So now it's these illegal gold miners. I'm going to continue to look into this some more. But I encourage you guys to look it up. Just type in alien attack Peru in Google. Pop right up. Midway down, it's alien attack, now labeled gold miners. It's not just our government that's corrupt. And all of the nation's government falls under this umbrella of the 1%. And I truly believe that. So that's kind of what I wanted to share on the Peruvian face eater alien thing. But I've got some really crazy information. There's so much information coming out about alien life form and UFO and this and that by the government. And now they're mentioning aliens. See, that was the thing. A while ago, if you kept track of all this, you'd say, Jeff, they're saying these aliens exist. And I'd be like, no, they've never said aliens exist. They're saying UAPs and UFOs exist, because they were very careful at how they said stuff. But now they're saying alien life form. I've got something straight from CIA.gov to share with you. I also have 2 horrifying Dogman encounters. One of them has some photos. So let me share this CIA.gov thing with you, and then we'll jump into the encounters too. But I want to share as much information with you as I can today, because like I said, I got the news about my leg, and it's like that depression cloud kind of lifted. So with that kind of new rejuvenation, look up that Peruvian alien attack, but then look up Russian soldiers turned to stone. And you can include alien or whatever, but Russian soldiers turned to stone by alien. Type that into Google, and it will literally, the first thing you'll see is CIA.gov. And there is something from FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, and it is this document right here. Now, I've done multiple of these, and this isn't the first thing that I've got from FOIA, but the Dennis Martin FBI case is right here. This is some amazing, this is a thick pile of information on Dennis Martin, who is a young boy who disappeared in the Great Smokies some 50-something years ago. But let me share this with y'all real quick. And so, document 199 of 54 blank blank FBIS, classified, unclassified, 3A PMU, country, Russian International. Paper reports alleged evidence of mishap involving UFO. Kiev. Halos in Ukraine, March 27th, 1993. Reprint from the newspaper Ternopil Vekbriny. Cosmic Revenge. First paragraph published in boldface. Text. After Mikhail Gorbachev dissolved in 1991 the KGB Top Secret Intelligence Administration, a lot of material from that department found their way abroad, in particular to the CIA. As reported by the authoritative magazine Canadian Weekly World News, U.S. intelligence obtained a 250-page file on the attack by a UFO on a military unit in Siberia. The file contains not only many documentary photographs and drawings, but also testimonies by actual participants in the events. One of the CIA representatives referred to this case as a horrific picture of revenge on the part of extraterrestrial creatures. A picture that makes one's blood freeze. According to the KGB materials, a quite low-flying spaceship in the shape of a saucer appeared above a military unit that was conducting routine training maneuvers. For unknown reasons, somebody unexpectedly launched a surface-to-air missile and hit the UFO. It fell to the earth not far away, and 5 short humanoids with large heads and large black eyes emerged from it. It is stated in the testimonies by the 2 soldiers who remained alive that after freeing themselves from the debris, the aliens came close together, then merged into a single object that acquired a spherical shape. That object began to buzz and hiss sharply, then became brilliant white. In a few seconds, the spheres grew much larger and exploded by flaring up with an extreme bright light. At that very instant, 23 soldiers who had watched this phenomena turned into stone poles. 2 soldiers who stood in the shade were less exposed to the luminous explosion and survived. The KGB report goes on to say that the remains of the UFO and the petrified soldiers were transported to a secret scientific research institution near Moscow. Specialists assume that a source of energy that is still unknown to Earthlings instantly changed the structure of the soldiers' living organisms, having transformed it into a substance whose molecular composition is no different than that of limestone. The CIA representative stated, if the KGB file corresponds to reality, this is an extremely menacing case. The aliens possess such weapons and possess such weapons and technology that go beyond our assumptions. They can stand up for themselves if attacked. March. What's that? Doesn't really say. It's kind of redacted at the bottom there. But then it says approved for release date May of 2000. So yeah, if this is something that you want to read on your own in just half, I get a kick out of when I find stuff like that, because I print it out immediately just so I can have proof of its existence, and I know where it came from because it's printed out from CIA.gov. So it doesn't get more real than that. Which is absolutely, these 5 entities merged into this, just not into some like golem creature. And I'm not saying golem like Schmeagol. I'm saying like the Jewish golem, like the Frankenstein. It didn't merge into, but it merged into this like sphere of death, which is just incredible. Just incredible. With that being said, let's jump into a couple of Dogman encounters. Tonight's first Dogman encounter. This encounter occurred just south of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in October of 2018. I'm a professional photographer and work throughout the region. I've been fortunate to have a successful business, great clients, and a beautiful landscape to work with. I went out one spring day for a wedding engagement shoot. A couple had specifically chosen the abandoned Piney Fork Tunnel for that location. I was familiar with it and agreed. We shot at a few other spots first, and then I met them out there later in the afternoon for the best lighting. I picked a good spot and started working. Everything was running smooth at first until we started hearing the sounds coming from somewhere inside of the tunnel. It was long enough that it was dark in the middle, so we couldn't see anything past a few hundred feet. It sounded like someone or something was moving around in there. We tried to ignore it, and I just kept taking photos, but the noises grew louder, like they were coming closer. The couple was now more uncomfortable, and they looked tense in their pictures, so I suggested wrapping it up, but they wanted to finish. I got in another few shots before we heard the growling. We stared at this tunnel, petrified. The sound had been unsettling, though not actually concerning, but that deep growling meant something very different. It sounded large and threatening. After a quick discussion, we decided to leave and go back to the backup location. We started packing up my lens as the couple started to walk to their car. The growling continued and sounded as if it was getting closer. There was also a scraping sound. I panicked, grabbed my stuff, and ran for the car. I jumped in, immediately locking the doors. The couple was already pulling out, but I had parked facing the other way and needed to turn it around. As I did, there was a brief second where my running lights shined into the tunnel entrance. In that second, I saw the source of the sound, and it was huge. It definitely was not a stray dog, and many times larger than a German Shepherd, and it was standing on its hind legs. Although it was bent forward, the beast was nearly 7 feet tall. The head was covered in thick fur. It had dog-like ears sticking up on the top of its head. I couldn't see the features clearly because it was too far away, but I saw the eyes reflecting in the light. The eyes had a deep orangish red color. I had absolutely no idea what I was looking at, but it walked on its hind legs. Then I blinked, and it was gone. I followed the couple to the next location, and when we got out, I asked them if they had seen the thing in the tunnel, but they said they had not. I wasn't sure if I should tell them what I saw because it sounded too crazy, even though they had heard the growling as well. I decided to keep the details to myself. We finished their session as fast as we could, and a few days later I was sorting through their photos, and I got to the tunnel photos. As I predicted, most were unusable because the couple was too tense and uncomfortable. I looked through them very carefully, trying to find the best ones, not wanting the location to be a loss. In the last few images, I saw something weird. It looked like a glare or a light flare over the guy's shoulder. I zoomed in and played with the lighting until I saw it more clearly. It was not a lens flare. It was two orange-red eyes in the darkness of that tunnel. They appeared in each of the last few photos. And that was the proof that I needed. The creature in that tunnel is real. I knew that I couldn't include those in the portfolio, not knowing what was leering behind them. Alright, so unfortunately, I don't have any of those photos that this photographer shared, but crazy enough, there are I'll share the photo of the tunnel, but it's also called the Green Man's Tunnel, and there's an urban legend that surrounds that tunnel. It's called the Green Man, or aka Charlie No Face, and many of you probably have seen that online, where this man has this horribly disfigured face. And it was actually a man by the name of Raymond Robinson who had a severe disfigurement after having an electrical accident at a very young age. So embarrassed and just embarrassed of his looks that he only went out at night. And I'm assuming that maybe sometime during the years of his life, he may have walked down that tunnel and startled some kids, and hence there became the urban legend. But crazy enough, where urban legend exists, there usually is something to back that urban legend up, and maybe Charlie No Face was just one thing that these folks saw. Maybe it was a Dogman. We all know that Pennsylvania is a hot spot. So pretty crazy. Here is a couple of photos of the tunnel and a photo of the urban legend Charlie No Face. All right, so there are two photos of the Piney Fork tunnel in just outside of Pittsburgh, and that is the photo of Charlie No Face, or actually, it would be Raymond Robinson, aka Charlie No Face. No disrespect to the man, because once again, he suffered tragic accident, an electrical accident at a very young age, disfiguring him horribly. So there is those very interesting photos, but this next upload I am going to narrate. Instead of being in front of the camera, I am going to narrate it, and that way you guys are able to see the photos that were taken of this Dogman. Let's get into that. And tonight's final Dogman encounter comes to us from a gentleman who owns approximately 70 acres of thick west central Louisiana woodland in Bogart Parish near DeRidder, which is adjacent to Fort Polk military base in Vernon Parish. Approximately 4 weeks ago, Paul and his 5-year-old daughter were walking along their long dirt driveway that leads to their home. When they reached the paved section of driveway, Paul noticed a dead 90-pound male bobcat lying along the edge. There were no apparent wounds or blood, but the carcass looked like it had been battered and crushed. It was also fresh. The area has abundant wildlife and predators that include bobcat, black bear, and at least one very large female panther that has been seen occasionally by Paul himself. The sight of this dead bobcat was concerning since there was no indication that any predator had fed on the carcass. Paul and his 5-year-old daughter stood there looking at the carcass when he noticed some movement in the thick, dark woods not too far from the driveway. Now there is a game trail that cuts through the woods and continues over a dirt drive into the opposite woods. There's also a pond nearby. As they moved closer, Paul observed a wolf-like head rise above the thick brush. The head was very large, with grayish-black fur. Paul pulled out his phone and quickly snapped the photo that you are seeing of the beast. As he did, a deep growl erupted from the unknown creature as it stood. Paul immediately saw that this canine was at least 7 feet in height, covered in sparse blackish fur. And it was friggin' broad, had large human-like shoulders with a wide chest, muscular arms and legs, as well as a tapered torso. The eyes seemed to shine this weird greenish hue. Paul and his daughter backed off of the creature and took one long stride forward. It stopped, leered at Paul with its green eyes growling deeply. Paul's daughter ran away screaming for her dad, which seemed to startle the creature. It quickly turned and fled into the woods. Paul attempted to take another photo as the beast moved into the dark woods, but there was no distinguishable form on the image. They both quickly ran home. Since this encounter, Paul has attempted to find a reporting agency. He seems to notice the canine-like head, the pointed ears, but was unsure since the image is difficult to discern. His immediate response is werewolf or possibly the Rougarou. The image of the upright canine head is very distorted because of the pixelation of a typical camera phone when attempting to zoom in. The best result of this photo without manipulating it is the one you are seeing now. Paul believes the bobcat may have been attacked, or may have attacked the upright canine, or vice versa, It seems that the bobcat was beaten upon or slammed onto the ground by this creature. Paul is a hunter and trapper who is quite familiar with the wildlife in his part of Louisiana. All right, folks, the photo, like was stated, it is a little distorted. I don't know what kind of phone he's got. Obviously, probably an older phone to have such a pixelation distortion, but you can see that there is something there. But once again, like video clips, I didn't take the photo. I'm leaving it up to you guys, for you guys to decide how you feel about it. Very horrifying experience. I could never imagine having an encounter like that with my daughter. God, she's 15, going to be 16. My other daughter's 18. I could never imagine having an experience like with them at this age. Imagine at 5. You know, I still have bad feelings about knowing that my 18-year-old had a Dogman encounter in the cemetery down the road from us, which is absolutely huge. It's got ponds, it's got streams, it's acres of land with forests. I've took you guys there before. Many of the new subscribers probably haven't seen it, but it is immense. And her and her friends saw a Dogman run through that cemetery. And you know what? It's not strange because there's just deer and water and everything else that it's a perfect place for them to be. Crazy. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. As you can see, I've got it back a little bit. I will continue to probably, pull myself out of this depression as the days go on. And I do apologize. I know probably many of you are like, why, but a lot of it is because of the new subscribers, and I want them to experience what we all experienced time past, and as well as the depression. So thank you for understanding. And if you guys are upset with me about it, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do except try harder. You guys are what makes this channel special, and I try not to let you guys down. So if I did, once again, I apologize. And with that being said, please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant. We know these creatures are real, and we know they're out there. And it's up to us to inform our family, our friends, and keep them as informed and safe as well. God bless you all.